Welcome to another music review. This is another in my series of great tracks that made an album great. And I've chosen for this particular video a song called No Language in Our Lungs, sang by XTC from their 1980 offering Black Sea. It's nearly 5 minutes long and the guitar sound is virtually a rip-off of the Beatles' Abbey Road circa, but in very much a creative way, of course, with this band. It's got an obligatory twist, like a time signature rupture in the middle of the verses. That lazy riff is just so sleazy, and the twin vocals hit the melody perfectly. That hint of heaviness in the guitar break as they glide back into the more aggressive verse post the bridge. And the final instrumental, the section is kind of a distorted feeling of chaos, torture, and then the Beatles sound sends off the track into the wilderness. The track really stuck with me, and it's my strongest cut, I feel, on this album. That's my thoughts anyway. And so let's get on now to have a little look at the lyric. The song was written by Andy Partridge, of course, and more of him later. As usual in this segment, I'm going to read the lyric. Let's get started then. Verse 1. There's no language in our lungs to tell the world just how we feel. No, 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 no. Bridge of thought. No mental link. No letting out just what you think. The chorus. There's no language in our lungs. Lungs, lungs, lungs. There's no muscle in our tongues to tell the world what's in our hearts. No, 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 we're leaving nothing behind. Just chiseled stones, no chance to speak before we're bones. There's no muscle in our tongues, tongues, tongues. Then there's an instrumental break which bridges to, I thought I had a whole world in my mouth. I thought I could say what I wanted to say. For a second, that thought became a sword in my hand. I could slay any problem that stand in my way. I just felt like a crusader, Lionheart, a holy land invader. But nobody could say what they really mean to say, and the impotency of speech came up and hit me that day. And I would have made this instrumental, but the words got in the way. Final verse. There's no language in our lungs to tell the world what's in our hearts. No, 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 we're leaving nothing behind. Just chiseled stones, no chance to speak before we're bones. And then the final chorus. Well, hope you enjoyed that. And I'm going to have a little look now at its meaning. Interpretation of this song then. My first thought, is it a statement that we're all muzzled by society's morals, laws and communicative restrictions? Food for thought. I also felt both liberated and simultaneously limited by speech too. And Andy Partridge, the impression that he gave was hinting at the trappings of the conventions of speech in societal terms. In an interview, Partridge went on to say, and I quote, "Then here's a song that was going to be titled I Have the World in My Mouth. And the lyrics I wrote down are, I have the world in my mouth, I can say what I want to say. I have a sword in my hand, I can say what I want to say. For a minute I became a crusader, Lionheart, a holy land invader. I have the world in my mouth." It was about how you can say what you want to say. Of course you can say what you want to say, but there's still a lack of communication, Partridge commented. Because communication isn't really words, it's about all sorts of things. It's about every sensory input you can imagine. It's just not just sounds of things. There's tone, body language, your inflections, the actual language that you're using. You can raise an eyebrow and it means something totally different. There are so many subtle variations in communication. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought that most people are totally impotent. I think everybody is. And when it comes to putting their ideas across, you know, the constriction of society and the constriction of not wanting to upset people. That's very English, of course. And Partridge also suggested the tempo was like the band Free, and he was a big fan of them. He continued, I really constructed them, but I was very lucky to find lungs to rhyme with tongues, because it's great really. It's all connected. It's all part of the same process of speech. How jammy is that? He laughed. It's like the filmmaker or ex-filmmaker who reviews food for one of the magazines here, Michael Winner. Of course, his column's called Winner's Diners. That's a great bit of happenstance, you know. If his name had been Michael Eckfast, he wouldn't be reviewing dinners, would he? But it was just a great piece of happenstance that no language in our lungs and no muscles in our tones work great together. So, if you want to hear a complete interview with Partridge, given those extracts, there's a link in the description where he's talking about this particular song and generally the album. Worth listening to. Okay, hope you've enjoyed that. I'll be interested in your thoughts. Great song, interesting lyrics.